Hey everyone, this is Addicted to Mysteries. I'm your host Jackson. Here we are with my sister Daphne. Say hi.
I need to cough.
You need to what?
Cough.
Cough?
Sorry.
Okay, thanks for doing that.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And today we're talking about the legendary Algonquian Wendigo and alleged true stories.
Ooh.
Yes. So, do you know what a Wendigo is?
No, I do not.
Okay. So then a Wendigo is a cannibalistic creature that's known for residing in the northern part of the Midwest and Canada, and even parts of the northeast part of Canada. Mm-hmm. They are spoken of in I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. The Ojibwe, Algonquian, Cree, and Naskapi tribes, and they're supposed to be a representation of human greed and gluttony and hunger in the icy cold winters. Mm-hmm. So it's basically a cannibal that eats other people.
Yuck.
It is, yeah, that's not good. The name of Wendigo is translated, so every single tribe uses a slightly different name, but unanimously it's all agreed upon that it's the name Wendigo. But the name Wendigo itself is translated in its truest form.
Yeah.
Technically means the evil spirit that devours mankind.
Ooh.
Which sounds like really crazy. Yeah. And then a German settler somewhere in the Midwest I want to say between the 18 and 1900s, he translated it to cannibal instead.
Oh.
So yeah.
So it was like the shortened version, like?
Pretty much, yeah. Huh. It's just a shortened version of the real name. I feel like the truest name is more terrifying than just cannibal.
No, literally, because it's like princess versus destroyer.
It is seriously, it's crazy. Yeah. So there was a representation, of the legendary Wendigo in movies and games and TV shows, and they all look different. A lot of them depict this tall creature with a deer head that's hunger for humans and sharp claws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Only part of it is true. Oh. So the part where there's a deer head is not true in Algonquian lore, particularly. In Algonquian lore, they depict the Wendigo as being more human-like, except gray skin, kind of like a tall version of Gollum, really emaciated and malnourished.
Yeah.
And still the sharp claws, still everything else, just no deer head. I guess it's possible that part was popularized in Hollywood, but I also don't know if that's a representation of the Wendigo spirit that curses these people. It looks like you have a question.
Do you know why? I know that you talked about how it could be Hollywood that kind of fantasized the deer head, but do you think that there's another reason why?
I didn't look too into it, but what I've seen is they wanted the Wendigo to look more to kind of relate more with the wilderness, and I think the deer head was the perfect way to do it. But I don't know for sure.
Okay.
That's just what I've seen. That's a good question.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So speaking of media, there is an honorable mention from Folklore Fangirl. If you haven't checked her out, I think she's on Apple Podcasts too, and she's also on Spotify. She talks about folklores around the world and different creatures and where they come from and what they do, and just their overall backstory. Just really cool. So Folklore Fangirl told me about a video game called Oh Deer, and you have to pretend to be a deer and blend in with the rest of the deer in the game, and you're hiding from the hunter is the goal. Or I think you can choose to be the hunter, either way. Mm-hmm. And you have to find the wolf in sheep's clothing. If you're the hunter, you have to find the fake deer.
The imposter.
Yeah. And then if you're the deer, you have to hide from the hunter. At the very end of the game, if none of the fake deers are found, then all the deers turn into Wendigos.
Yeah.
And they go after the hunter. So awesome.
Scary.
It's terrifying, yeah. Really scary. I think you have a story, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I think we talked about it off air.
Yeah.
But basically, to go a little bit more into what the creatures are, so they were human at one time, but what causes them to be turning into these Wendigos is a number of things. The most common reason why they turn into Wendigos is that they eat another person out of starvation or greed, allegedly to like certain stories being told, like greed, gluttony, starvation. Other ways of a Wendigo turning it, or a human turning into a Wendigo, is like being cursed into one. So like if a shaman, which, if by the way, if you guys don't know what a shaman is like a medicine man in like Native American practices.
Like,
so
almost like a apothecary, but
kind
not.
of. Parts of it are similar, but not quite. It's more so like, I guess it's kind of like a witch doctor, right? Where like they help heal people. Yeah, okay. I think that's kind of what it's like, but I could be super off.
Okay.
Yeah. So they like either they get cursed by like a bad shaman, or they eat another person, or other reasons. I don't know. I haven't really gone too deep down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Speaking of stories, I think I've mentioned a little bit earlier that there are stories about like how people become Wendigos and like about Wendigos, like representing greed. There is a story in Native American lore about the greedy child story, where it's a cautionary story keeping like Native Americans from eating other Native Americans. So this Wendigo finds this little boy, but he's too skinny, so his goal is to fatten him up so that he can eat him later. So then he takes him to a village to fatten him up, but he goes to the village. The boy goes to the village. The Wendigo says, "Don't tell lies," and like tell them that like I'm trying to eat you. And the villagers come out and they cut off the Wendigo's legs. And the Wendigo is so hungry and so greedy and gluttonous that it starts eating its own legs. Yeah, and then they kill the Wendigo. It does, yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yuck.
Yeah, the cautionary story did not be greedy. I feel like, yeah, maybe, yeah, cannibalism is not it.
No.
Nope. Not it.
Yuck. That's like, it's kind of like a greed moral. Like, there's so much greed that you can have, and then there's like a line, and a Wendigo kind of like goes over that line.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting to see the morality of it.
Yeah, I think what you're describing is the difference between having a desire and then just being greedy and selfish.
Yes.
That's pretty much like the overarching like theme.
Yeah.
Another one talks about the very first Wendigo that ever came to being. So, like, according to lore, a warrior who wanted to be super powerful and super strong was already strong, but he wanted to be more strong, went to evil and said, "Hey, I am strong, but I'm not strong enough. I want to be more strong. How to become more powerful?" And evil said, "I will tell you what. I will make you a deal, but it will come with a cost." He's like, "Done." So he takes the deal, and he becomes more stronger and powerful, but the problem is he turns taller and skinnier and more emaciated, malnourished, and he gets sharp claws and teeth. So he starts looking and acting less human and more of like the Wendigo. So then he protects the village, but the villagers are so afraid of him that they send him to the woods because they've deemed him not like compatible with like human society.
Almost like inhumane.
Like inhuman, yeah.
Inhumane.
Inhumane?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's like the morality where it's like you've lost your humanity.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about the villagers. Yeah, no, he definitely, yeah. I think it talked about that where the more he was being selfish and greedy, the less human he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was to never return.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
yucky.
It makes sense that like they were like, no, because who would want like your village protected by something that's not quite
Well,
like doesn't have humanity?
I mean, I want my village protected, but probably not from that.
No.
Because I'd be worried that would come back at me. But that's just how I feel.
Back at you? Oh,
well,
like,
because like I don't want it to like eat up the village.
No.
That's crazy.
Ugh. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've never personally experienced a Wendigo.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about, Wendigo story that you knew someone that went through. Do you want to share it?
I have 2 stories. So, we were talking about this earlier, but I had a teacher back in high school that went to the college, and he was like really young when he was going. I think he was like 18 or something, and he was going down this canyon after going to like a Denny's at like 2 a.m. That's college behavior. But basically, he was driving like 80 miles per hour, which is insane. Okay, down in a canyon at like night. That's dangerous. Don't do that. But he, according to him, he looked over and there was something like following him, like some kind of being, and it was described just as what a Wendigo would be. And the crazy thing.
So hold on, it's like, how is it following? Is it chasing? Like, is it literally running at the same time as the car? Like, is the same speed?
So it wasn't like, it was like running next to it, but like farther enough in the woods where it was like passing trees, so it was off the road.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like right, like it was next to it, but not like following behind.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. At 80 miles per hour, that's insane for an animal. I don't think that animals can go that fast except for like cheetahs or something, and I don't think we have cheetahs where we live. So.
That's probably a safe bet.
Yeah. And so he looked over and it was like some kind of like white creature on all fours, maybe like a grayish, I don't know, just like a Wendigo. And he noticed like it was following them for like a while, and then all of a sudden it like ran into the car, like absolutely like body slammed the side, and they just kept on driving because what are you supposed to do? Like,
yeah.
And then it disappeared. Like it didn't like poof, but it kind of like disappeared back into the woods.
Oh my gosh.
And then later they got out of the car and then they looked at the car, I think maybe in the morning or something, where they could see it better, and there was like a dent and then like dust prints all over that side.
Dust prints?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean? Like of what?
Like he didn't like go into detail, but it was like as if something pushed against it and it was like dust.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy, Daphne.
And I think there might have been like some scratches, but
wow.
Yeah.
I would probably be pissing myself if I were in that situation.
Piss my pants, girl. Oh my goodness.
Yep. Peeing, vomiting, all the above. Pooping my pants.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm just glad that they just kept on going, because that's
probably the only thing you can do, because if you stop, you're done.
You're gone.
As the kids, I'm learning a lot of new lingo, and I guess the right word would be you're cooked.
Yeah. You would definitely be cooked.
Mm-hmm. I think you had another story about a Wendigo.
I do. So this one isn't as interesting or intriguing, but I still thought it was interesting because me and my friends were talking. I was at the college when I was talking with my friends, and my friend mentioned how she has this video where she was up in a cabin, okay, and it was next to a lake, and she heard across the lake this like screeching sound, and it almost resembled like a car screeching, but it's like, you know what a car screeching sounds like,
mm-hmm.
like the tires, it's like mm-hmm. such a distinct sound that you know what it is, but it wasn't quite that. It was kind of different, and she like shared the video with us, and it was so like unfamiliar. It was really weird, and it was dark at night, and she was like really spooked. She didn't find anything, but I it's just like really interesting.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm not personally a big camper, but that would probably be my last day if I was camping.
Yeah, no.
That would be like, yep, never again. Yep, I'm happy in my hotel room. Yep.
Yeah, no thank you. Thank
no
you.
Thanks. No thanks.
That's how you die in a horror movie.
Yep. You do not go down the basement. You open the basement door. You hear weird noise. Okay, I'm selling the house. Yep. Let's just go.
Yep. Burn the house down.
Burn the house down.
Yep.
Plane ticket.
Yeah.
Let's go to a different state. I don't know.
It's like the spiders, but like actually danger.
Yeah. I would hate. I think like experiencing a Wendigo is interesting to tell as a story, but not when you're actually experiencing a Wendigo. Yeah. I think another story out there that does talk about like encountering Wendigos that are famous is known as the Jack Fiddler case. His real name, I'm definitely going to mispronounce this, so I apologize for the listeners. It's Jabuno Gizigo Galbon, but I guess his like nickname or the name he goes by is Jack Fiddler. He was a shaman who would allegedly fight and kill Wendigos during his time. He claimed to have killed 14 Wendigos in his lifetime. He would kill people who were emaciated due to hunger and starvation, either before or after turning into a Wendigo, allegedly, or becoming possessed by the Wendigo spirit. So I should probably clarify. So the Wendigo spirit is different from the Wendigo creature.
Yeah.
So the Wendigo spirit is like the temptation to turn into the monster. And then you become the monster. And then there's no cure.
So it's like, yeah. It almost like sounds like a thought, almost, but not, because it's a spirit. Yeah.
That's how it's described, is the spirit causes the Wendigo for the person to turn into a Wendigo creature. So I should probably clarify that part.
So it's not like possession.
It's not like possession in the sense of like paranormal, like ghost possession.
No. But
it's like a temptation influence kind of thing.
Almost like the devil whispering over your shoulders.
That's like a similar idea from what I've gathered together.
Okay.
Yeah. So he claimed to kill 14 Wendigos. The Northwest Police, I think up in Canada, put him on trial and arrested him for murder of several people he claimed had a desire for eating people. He escaped prison shortly after and hanged himself afterward. Members of the family said that he would end starving people's lives right before they turned into Wendigos in hopes of preventing the Wendigo spirits. Because in the lore, there's no cure. Well, there's in most of the lore in most Native American culture, there's no cure for Wendigo. However, there's very few stories of a Wendigo turning back into a human, but it's dependent on like tribe to tribe. But it's unanimously there's no cure. Mm-hmm. The only cure is death.
Yeah.
So it's still an interesting story.
It really makes me wonder, like, what possesses someone to, like, go to that level and, like, have that, like, thinking or that rationality. Almost kind of like, what started that, or, like, it makes sense why they arrested him, because, you
can't murder people.
You can't be justified for murder by supernatural, because it's unknown. You can't secure it, right?
Right.
But it also makes me wonder, like, what was going on with him, if allegedly it was real or not. Mm-hmm. Like, what started that,
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like...
It's, like, a good thing to ponder about, almost.
I think, like, forever ago, some person said, okay, so we should come up with a creature, or we've observed a creature, depending on however you want to look at it. Like, don't eat each other during desperate times, because we need people to survive. You can't, like, survive solo. Yeah. That's just, you just can't.
So they came up with, like, a myth?
I think so.
Probably.
Whether if you want to believe in the myth or believe in the Wendigo, however you want to look at it for the listeners out there.
Yeah.
More stories about the creature. So, like I said long ago, I mean long ago. I mean like 17th century, 1600s, like French Canada ago.
It's a long
When the
time
French,
ago.
yeah, so when the French came into Canada and Quebec, there came, I think the name is Jesuit or Jesuit missionaries that told stories about Cree, Algonquian, and Ojibwe. I forget the other one. I think it was the Naskapi tribes. Their customs, what they eat, and how they live, and including their Wendigos as well. So during 17th century New France in Quebec, one particular case that's well documented is the Jesuit relations. It's like a diary of these missionaries going, like describing their experience with the natives, and part of it does include cannibalistic, lanky creatures during harsh winters, and these people describe these creatures as werewolf-like. And many of the people of the tribes during the time were executed because they claimed there was no cure, to be cursed by the Wendigo spirits. So I don't know about you, but if I was a French missionary during like French Canada, like 17th century times, and if I came to this random icy cold land, on top of that I'm freezing, not having a good time, and also there's man-eating creatures that look like werewolves. Yeah, that's gonna be. I'm going back to France. I'm going back to my home country.
Yeah, what a time to be alive. That would be
I know.
terrible.
Could you imagine? I don't know.
Goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. I would not be. I would not be a happy camper.
Yeah, I would piss my pants yet again.
Many general sightings of the tall, skinny, clawed creatures come from. It's called the Wendigo capital of the whole world. It's called Kenora, Ontario, in Canada. Kenora is known as like the highest frequency of Wendigo sightings. So most people who have like said that they've seen a Wendigo, a tall creature, they've heard the same things that your teacher has heard and your friend has heard.
Yeah.
The shrieking, all of that is most like there's a hot hub in Kenora. And at least like in so there's another area within either Kenora or around Kenora. It's called the Mamagues Lake in Ontario, which is nicknamed, and there's a place in there or near there that's called the Cave of Wendigos. And the reason why it's called the Cave of Wendigos is because that even in Kenora, in the Cave of Wendigos, is even more common place to see Wendigos. So if you go there, you are almost more than guaranteed to like allegedly say that you've seen a Wendigo. And it's kind of like right in the like in the middle of nowhere. Like there's nothing else around it. And there's possible ancient cave drawings of like animals and like hunting the animals in the cavern that's only accessible by canoe or boat. Whether the drawings have to do with Wendigos is unclear. I tried looking into it, but there's not very much on it at all. It's just like drawings of like hunting, like deer and like elk and stuff like that, like just food, like animals. But not to my knowledge anything Wendigo related. But just a ton of sightings of Wendigos that give this the name. I could go in the stories, but there's just so many. It would probably take like a week to get through.
Dude, I'm putting those on the no-go list for, places to go. No, thank you. I do not want to go there.
You really have like a bucket list that's like places I really want to go.
And then it's like...
never want to go. Kenora, nope. Cave of Wendigos, nope. Like not happening.
It's like the no-go list versus the bucket list. What would be the opposite of like a bucket?
Probably a no-go list, like you said. I feel like that would be the name of it.
No, but like what's the opposite of a bucket? Like a puddle? I don't know. Ground?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, but it'd probably be like a no-go list. Like a go versus a no-go list. It's like all covered in red.
Right. When Wendigos are said to be nearby, there's an intense smell of rotting flesh odor is strong, and if you hear a high-pitched shrieking and unusual chills, this sounds familiar to your friend's story. Or even like whistling or human crying out of nowhere is to be known to lure the victims in, and there's a Wendigo nearby. So legend says that the only way to kill a Wendigo it says to release the human spirit, which makes me think like the Wendigo like spirit is like possessed, like almost kind of possessed and influences human.
It could also be like, have you heard about like ghosts like riding on someone? So it's like they're tied to someone.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So release the human spirit with a silver bullet, or some legends to say to kill it by fire, to set it on fire.
I would set it on fire.
Yep, that sounds about right.
But like, okay, the silver bullet just reminds me of like werewolves. So I wonder if it was like kind of like similar or something.
I can see why the French thought that.
They're like, just shoot it.
Yeah.
Just set it on fire.
Yeah.
You know, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Or maybe someone was like, I don't know how to kill it, and then someone like it was like like someone in the crowd was like, what if we just set it on fire? And they're like, sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. Good job, Billy.
Sounds good. Good job. Good job.
Yep.
Another phenomenon worth noting is called Wendigo psychosis. Have you heard of it?
No.
So Wendigo psychosis is a very rare term deeming someone who is not mentally well, who has a very intense desire to eat another person and exhibit Wendigo-like symptoms, evaluated by psychologists and psychiatrists. So, for example, I'm not sure if this is an up-to-date. I highly doubt it's an up-to-date diagnosis. Probably. Yeah, it's like a hysteria as a diagnosis, I think, where it was at one point, like, where they called, like, women crazy and, like, hysterical, but we definitely don't do that anymore. So I think it could be something like that. But if you so they diagnosed people who like ate other people and like claimed like Wendigo like symptoms. Yeah. So for example, a guy named Swift Runner, yes, his name was Swift Runner, Swift, and it could have been like an English translation of his like real like tribe name because he was a Native American. Oh. So it could have just been a translation because sometimes names do translate like that.
I thought it was like a Utah name or something.
No,
or like some crazy name.
No, this guy was I think his I could be really wrong, but his name was, I think his tribe was Cree, or it could have been it was somewhere like, I think it was in the right area of like the Wendigo lore.
Okay.
The tribe name I can't remember. So if I get it wrong, I apologize. So he was a trapper and a policeman. He went with his family to go hunting and came back and said his entire family starved to death. However, he was not malnourished and he was actually like normal looking when he came back from the trip.
That's horrifying.
I know. I would be like, there's something very much wrong if you're not affected. So when the police did an investigation because they felt like something was off, and they eventually found his family's bones burned and scattered around the site that they camped at. Mm-hmm. Which implies something very unnatural happened at that campsite. Yep. Later on, they interrogated Swift, and eventually he confessed to killing and eating his entire family and claimed that he was possessed by the Wendigo spirit. So some say that he went through a Wendigo psychosis. He was tried and executed for murdering his family.
Do you think he was ever diagnosed?
That's what the diagnosis was. Wendigo psychosis. Okay. Yeah.
So he was okay. So he was just kind of like, my bad, guys. Kill my family. My bad, you know.
Oops, I got a little hungry. It's fine. I get a little hangry. Yeah, I get hangry, but not like that. No. That's a whole other level of hangry.
I know that you get hangry, but you get real mean. Mm-hmm. You're a meanie when you get hungry.
That's what I've been told as a kid. I mean, who doesn't get mean when they're hangry? You know what I mean? I gotta have a little snack.
Maybe you're just a weirdo.
I feel like more people out there get hangry.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, he went through. They tested him for Wendigo psychosis.
That's crazy.
I know. The thing about the Wendigo is, although it's technically folklore, which means it can't be proven correct, there's many claims. We could talk about like a week's worth of stories on this entire topic, but we're not going to do that. Probably more. But it's just too many that we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So, although there's technically folklore, there's many claims out there that say that they've seen a Wendigo signs of Wendigo, and all the above, and all the way even up from the 17th century, and possibly even before that, and even still today, that there's alleged sightings of these like legendary Wendigos. So like, and this is like a question for the listeners out there. So do you think this could be explained by the symptoms of the people from these stories and alleged tales through starvation and the tough times of winter, and trying to keep people from being greedy and gluttonous and like selfish, from like helping the whole instead of like helping yourself?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like built like a children's story to keep
That's
them
kind of
not
what
so greedy.
That's what it kind of like built off of.
Yeah.
Or could it be? And it could have been a starvation mental health toll in the Canadian and upper Midwest winters, because they do get really, really bad winters, I've heard.
Huh.
I've never been up there, and I don't think we've both been up there, but
No.
they get really, really harsh winters, so
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Or could it be legitimate things where people do get possessed by the Wendigo spirit and develop cannibalistic tendencies and the evil that can only be destroyed by fire or a silver bullet? What do you guys think? Tell me your thoughts on the YouTube channel, comments, and give a like on the channel, and listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, because we're on there too. We enjoy talking about that. Thank you for talking about the Wendigo. It was really interesting.
Thanks.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing the stories. They're really, really cool.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. So give me your comments. Give me what your thoughts are. Stay tuned for episode 4. I'm not sure when I'm going to post episode 4, but it will be coming soonish. The topic is up for debate, but yes. I hope you guys like this episode. Stay tuned in episode 4. Bye-bye.